Wayne and Jess for breakfast. We are with Radio 97 resident lawyer Despina Priala of Priala Legal now.
Now, Despina, we've all, I guess, at one time or another had to deal with an insurance company and an insurance claim. It's not necessarily the most pleasant experience, but the good news is that if you've been a bit annoyed with something that your insurance company's done, especially the people who actually deal directly with your claims, things are going to change for them very shortly, aren't they?
They are, and I'm very excited to announce this, having dealt with a number of insurance companies over the years for myself personally and for clients. So as of the 1st of July 2021, so it's only a short time away, isn't it? The claims handlers, as we all know them, that's the layperson's term. So you ring up an insurance company, you deal with someone about your claim, they're going to process that claim and then determine that claim if it's going to be accepted or rejected, and then perhaps make an offer to settle if they're going to accept it. So the claims handler, right? So that person now, or those people, will have to be licensed, because there's new legislation that has said that insurance handlers, that work, that service is a financial service. So they're going to have to go off and get an Australian Financial Services licence approved by ASIC.
So anyone working there now,
that's
that's
it.
got to be a qualification.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So they're going to have a qualification and skill, I dare say more than what they have now, which is very, very good news, because dealing with your insurance claims is a very important aspect for anybody.
It's your money, it's your possessions. So it can be house, car, any kind of insurance claim.
That's how I understand it, yes.
It's interesting that you say in the past they haven't needed to be licensed.
Exactly, for many years. And how's that worked out, perhaps, for some?
Well, perhaps, yeah.
Yes, exactly. So I think it's a very important step that's occurred in Australia, and I'm very pleased about this. So it's actually come about there was a Royal Commission into the misconduct in the banking, superannuation and financial services industry earlier. So as a result of that, there's been new legislation come into force as of the 1st of January. And what they've actually done as a result of that legislation is classed insurance matters or claims, etc., is basically, in dealing with those claims, it's basically a financial service, which it wasn't classed as before. So they've brought in the definition of what is a financial service, and they've included claims handling now as a financial service, and therefore those people who do that work and provide that service must be licensed.
Well, that's good news, I guess, because before, what was the process? You used to go within their internal, I don't know, they must have had another department where you escalate it at that company. I guess they just go on their own policy.
So what would normally happen is, you say if you have a car accident, okay, and you've got to lodge a claim with your insurance company if you're insured, and you go through the process of ringing them up or going online, lodging a claim, and then the process begins where that claim gets assessed by a claims handler, whoever that is, and then you get informed, well, we'll accept your claim or we'll reject your claim, or we'll accept it in part only and give you the reasons why. Then, of course, if you're not happy with that decision, there have always been avenues to pursue, such as an internal dispute resolution mechanism within the insurance companies themselves. And, they say it's independent, but is it truly independent? I've never really liked those internal dispute resolution mechanisms myself, because I don't think that they can truly be independent when the left hand is not supposed to be talking to the right hand within the insurance company, but perhaps they do. Perhaps they do, without pointing the finger at anyone in particular. But of course, from there, if you're still not happy, you do have the Australian Financial Ombudsman to be able to pursue an appeal, for example.
Never thought of doing that before.
Well, see, that's the point. Most people don't. It's all too hard.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it, and I can't afford a lawyer to help me do it. And I think the insurance companies, to a very large extent, rely on that.
That's right. So if you get a decision that perhaps you're not overly happy with, and you just think, oh, well, I'm just going to have to live with that. But I guess the ultimate, you could, and some people obviously do, take it even further and actually take it to court. But I mean, obviously that's a much bigger process.
It's a much bigger process, and there'll be real costs involved. But isn't it interesting that this legislation, where now we are having to see claims handlers being licensed, so a greater skill and competency has come about from a Royal Commission into misconduct in the banking financial industry. It's interesting, isn't it? Because perhaps then what it's alluding to is, claims may not have been handled correctly in the past. I'm not saying any misconduct per se, but what has come out of that Royal Commission is a real need that's been identified that people who handle claims for consumers have to be skilled to a large degree, and now they've got to have a financial services license.
And the thing is too, it could be such a varied answer from individual to individual based on this, because I guess you've got no go-to. There's no point that's a standard for everyone.
That's right. And as I said before, most people give up. So if the claim gets rejected, most people go, oh, okay, that's disappointing. Geez, I won't go with that insurance company again and go to another one and get the same experience. So it's only a few, and I've done it myself, obviously, with my background, but there's only a few that take on the insurance companies, and it's a very long, arduous process. It's very draining, and if you're not a lawyer, of course, it can be costly if you have to engage a lawyer. It's very disappointing if you have to do that because your real claim that should be accepted perhaps was not. So I think this is a real step to helping consumers at that first level where they're putting a claim in, and hopefully the claim will be processed in a different way for them to have a different outcome.
Okay, so this
was from July 1.
this is July 1, so we've only got another few months to wait.
That's right. Yeah, so very exciting. So the other important aspect to note is that there's always a transition period with new legislation. So even though the legislation commences from the 1st of July, they are giving a 6-month transition period from the 1st of July to the end of that year for those insurance companies that have lodged applications with ASIC to be approved for the financial services license, but the license has yet to be granted. So if I was a consumer and I had to lodge an insurance claim after the 1st of July, if it was me, I would certainly ask the insurance company, oh, by the way, I'm aware that you now have to be licensed. Are you licensed, or have you lodged your application with ASIC? Because there is this 6-month transition period. And if they haven't done either, if they haven't lodged an application, don't know about it, don't want to talk about it, or are not licensed, well, you're going to have trouble, and you can certainly put them on notice, well, you should, before my claim gets determined.
Very good to know.
Yeah,
Well,
worthwhile knowing that, definitely, because, as we said at the start of the segment, I guess many of us have been involved with insurance companies one way or another, and you especially, Despina, and just simply not happy with the way things are handled.
Well, that's right. And can I say that if you do have an insurance claim coming up, close to that 30 June, 1st of July, perhaps wait to the 1st of July, then lodge your claim.
fantastic advice. And we can always seek your advice at 49 Cockleshell Court in Runaway Bay.
You can, and phone the office 55 291 294.
And otherwise Google Despina Priala or prialalegal.com.au.
And Despina, you're taking a couple of weeks off, but we'll see you in April.
Yes, you will.